PeterFDrucker, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Practice and Principles. Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Practice and Principles by PeterFDrucker offers powerful insights on the importance of recognizing and exploiting innovation opportunities in business. The book illustrates various sources of innovation, both internal and external, and guides readers on how to utilize those opportunities to achieve success as an entrepreneur. By examining case studies of successful entrepreneurs, Drucker provides valuable lessons on how to anticipate changes in the market, develop new techniques, and create new demand for products. The book dispels the notion that innovation is exclusive to young entrepreneurs and reveals how established businesses can foster an environment that cultivates innovation.
The keys to entrepreneurial success. Innovation is the key to entrepreneurial success, and it can come from both internal and external sources. Internal sources of innovation include unexpected events and changes in the industry or market. Macy's, for example, failed to capitalize on the trend of increased appliance sales, while Bloomingdale's invested in marketing and profited from it. Similarly, Volvo succeeded by marketing itself as a global brand when the automotive industry shifted to a more international market. The lesson is clear: entrepreneurs who can adapt and leverage change will reap the rewards of innovation. Internal sources of innovation. This summary explores two more internal sources of innovation: process need and incongruities. Process need involves finding weak links and innovating, such as William Connor did when he discovered a solution for a problematic step in the cataract removal process. Incongruities refer to gaps between reality and perception, and are opportunities for innovation. For example, shipping companies misdiagnosed their problem, believing speed between ports was vital, but the real issue was idle time in ports. The container ship closed this gap and reduced shipping costs by 60%. Understanding these internal sources of innovation can help entrepreneurs spot opportunities and create innovative solutions. External sources of innovation. Innovation can come from external sources, such as understanding demographic changes in the market and knowledge-based innovation. Demographic changes alter market demands, and those who predict and adapt to such changes are more likely to succeed, as demonstrated by the example of Melville's successful targeting of the teenage shoe and clothes market after the baby boom in America. Knowledge-based innovation involves the development of new ideas or inventions, which is often a lengthy process that requires a variety of know-how. The computer is an example of knowledge-based innovation that began in the 17th century with the invention of binary numbers and continued with the invention of a way to program instructions into a machine in 1880, eventually resulting in the first operational computer in 1946. External sources of innovation can bring success to businesses and markets alike. Steps to foster innovation. Innovation is not limited to small entrepreneurs only. Businesses can also be innovative. To become an innovative company, a business must adopt policies that welcome and desire innovation by abandoning outdated practices and planning for alternatives. Establishing an organizational structure with separate space for innovative projects and an appraisal system to improve entrepreneurial performance is also essential. By following these steps, large companies such as a major bank and the world's largest pharmaceutical company have been able to foster innovation and review their efforts. Building an effective business. Building an effective business requires entrepreneurs to follow 4 key steps. Firstly, it is imperative to find a market by keeping an eye on a variety of markets. Secondly, entrepreneurs must have the right financial focus to ensure that money is available for investments, expansion, and survival if the company encounters problems. Additionally, it is essential to build the best management team as soon as possible and to decide on the role of the founding entrepreneur. Company owners should consider what they are good at and what they could do best to further the company. In some cases, it may be better for the founder to leave the company if they can no longer add value to it. These 4 key steps will assist in building an effective business. Being the first entrepreneur, a risky strategy for success. As an entrepreneur, securing a market share is crucial, and one way to ensure that is by being the fastest with the mostest, being the first in your field and exploiting that advantage. This strategy requires going all out, as being the first requires pushing hard. Hoffmann La Roche, a small chemicals company manufacturing dyes, took a risky gamble in the 1920s by entering a new field, vitamins, which had attracted little interest elsewhere. They invested all the money they could, including large borrowed sums, to manufacture and market the vitamins. This strategy paid off, and the company continued to remain the world leader in vitamins 60 years later. Although being the first in a market is risky, the rewards are significant. To achieve this, knowing the market inside out and ensuring that the opportunities are viable is crucial. Making the wrong decision can lead to failing. This strategy is comparable to aiming a rocket at the moon. If the calculations and measurements are incorrect, the moon can be missed altogether. Entrepreneurial strategies for finding gaps. Successful entrepreneurs find gaps in the market ignored by their rivals. One of the strategies for doing this is, hit them where they ain't. This involves two methods: creative imitation and entrepreneurial judo. Creative imitation is when entrepreneurs imitate pre-existing ideas and apply them in a way that is more appealing to customers. IBM, for example, imitated the ENIAC computer, adapted it with more features beneficial to businesses, and created a successful product. Entrepreneurial judo, on the other hand, involves hitting rival companies at their weakest points. Many established firms have flaws, such as arrogance, which makes them dismiss new ideas. Sony, for instance, capitalized on the arrogance of larger rival companies who rejected the transistor, which Sony bought for $25,000 and used to design the world's first portable transistor radio, eventually dominating the US market. In conclusion, to be a successful entrepreneur, you must recognize the gaps that others ignore, imitate pre-existing ideas creatively, and hit your rivals' weak spots using the hit them where they ain't strategy. Finding success through ecological niches. An entrepreneur can achieve success by focusing on an ecological niche. The author identifies two strategies to discover ecological niches, following a tollgate strategy and utilizing specialty skills and markets. The tollgate strategy involves creating a product or service that is vital to another product or service. The advantage of this is that the product remains the leader, as competitors cannot beat it. For example, Connor's company developed an enzyme crucial for cataract removal surgery, which made the company's market position stable. On the other hand, this strategy also has its risks because it is dependent on other products. Specialty skills and markets involve building knowledge of something others don't have, such as unique knowledge of a market or certain skill sets. For instance, during the early years of the automobile industry, manufacturing companies lacked knowledge of electronics, creating a niche for electronics firms. However, there is a risk of losing the niche, as the specialty skill or knowledge could eventually become universal. Understanding ecological niches is essential for success as an entrepreneur. The author's strategies illustrate the importance of identifying a market gap and developing a unique offering that fills this gap. Strategies for innovation. Striving to create new customer demands and following a pricing strategy are two ways to innovate. Rather than changing the product, the innovation lies in creating customer satisfaction. Lennox China creatively introduced the bridal registry system to offer customers the goods they wanted. Meanwhile, Gillette followed an immediate loss to gain long-term prospects through selling their razors at a loss but profiting from selling their blades. By focusing on what customers are willing to pay, companies can innovate without having to introduce entirely new products or services.
Drucker's book emphasizes the significance of recognizing and seizing opportunities for innovation, whether that comes from internal or external sources. Innovation plays a critical role in the success of a business, and is essential for every entrepreneur who is on the lookout for growth opportunities. By understanding the various strategies for identifying and exploiting these opportunities, entrepreneurs can significantly increase their chances of success. The book serves as an invaluable resource for not only entrepreneurs but also established businesses that seek to remain at the forefront of innovation. Armed with actionable insights and practical strategies presented in the book, readers now have the tools necessary to unlock their full entrepreneurial potential.